Hi friends, it's Deanna Williston from Our Blooming Catholic Life, or should I say Annyeonghaseyo, which I am hoping I'm saying right. We could also try the sign of the cross. Seongba, Seongjawa, Seong. Oh, I can't say this. Why am I trying to do the sign of the cross in Korean? I can give it to you. Woohoo! And how do I know this? Well, one, I've watched some videos of people in South Korea. They had a big rosary congress and they, broadcast it. And so I've seen it. And so I can listen in and almost make this out. So when I got translated this first word, I was like, wait, I have heard that before. But there's more translation to be done and as to exactly what I'm saying when. And let me catch you up, because we have a new book. Okay, so one of the problems in learning a new language like Korean is finding Korean books. It has not been that easy. You'd think it would be, and you'd think there'd be books, like there are books that teach you how to do Spanish and stuff, and there are books that will teach you Korean. Don't get me wrong, but I have not yet found books on how to teach you Catholic things in Korean, or like prayers and songs and simple things like that. And I haven't found like a book, like I want a kid's book where it's like find the things and it tells you the words with a little picture next to it, and then you go in and find it. Things that are interactive, not as much of a textbook. So although I love the systems I have been using Duolingo. They've been updating it almost daily sometimes, it seems. So some days it's better than others. Some days it's like, I don't know. Why does the fox have the key to the city of Seoul? Like, you're like, what? The cucumber's milk? What does that even mean? So there's still some problems going on with Duolingo, and I love Billy Go's system. I just need to be... The only thing that's missing in his system for me is a clear way of hearing it while I'm looking at the vocabulary. What I really want is something that gives me the sound of the word while I'm looking at it written in Korean, while I'm looking at a picture of it. That is what I would like. Now, is Korean a language that fits as well in that system? Maybe not, because there's all these modifiers and things, but it would help me get started. It's just how my brain's working. So I'm stumbling through things, looking them up with an online dictionary, because not everything, of course, is going to be literal. And a friend on Twitter, Edith, who is also studying Korean, had turned me on to looking on eBay for Korean books. Because the problem is I can find the Daughters of St. Paul in Korea. I can find their website, but their website is completely in Korean. And I can't find an English-speaking daughter of St. Paul who knows Korean who can help me out. So, a little confusing there. But stay with me. Okay, so I found a book. I thought it was going to be good from the description. And what is it? Thank you for watching this far. You can see it's a nice little leatherette book with a zipper. It's even got a cute little, like a, trying to think of the word for it. Can you see that? The kind of a cross it is. And this ginormous word at the bottom translates into Catholic Bishops' Conference of Korea. So that looks pretty good when I finally found that out. And if you look, this word is actually sort of ka, right? The first one is ka, fo, Greek, Catholic. And then let's look at the next word. I couldn't get this one. This is like gi, do, so. That is a hymn. Oh, no, wait. That is either Book of Common Prayer or Liturgy of the Hour. So I was like, well, either way, that sounds really good. Again, it wasn't a literal translation there. But I thought, okay, it's going to be some book of prayer. Go for it. The next word down here, look, seong. Song. Seong. Seong. And then I'm guessing this is a modifier maybe? Ja. So, that's not ja. It's somewhere between a C and a G, isn't it? Songka. Which my translation, when I looked it up in the dictionary, which I'll link in the description below, says it's a hymn or sacred song. what? So is this a songbook? What is it? It's a Book of Common Prayer, Liturgy of the Hours songbook. Sounded good to me. And so I got in. And it took me a while to get in because the ribbons are completely shredded and they weren't tucked in well, so they were actually in the zipper. And they're completely destroyed. So I can try and replace those later. I tried to get far enough in the book that I could see what it was. This is the same text from the outside, but a little bit fancier script. There's a bunch of handwritten stuff in here that I don't know what that is. But again, Catholic Bishops' Conference of Korea here at the bottom. And then there's a note of some sort. Guessing it was 1997, perhaps written by a bishop. I can't read them, but somebody signed at the bottom. And then we got to this page. This means table of contents. And the next thing is preface is on page 3. Introductory remarks on page 8. And then I started to realize, this with the number in it stands for chapter. So as I'll just go through what I have translated out. The chapter 1, doesn't make entire sense to me. Chapter 1 is major major prayers. That did not make sense to me before. Major prayers. So chapter 1 is major prayers. And then it lists a bunch of them. And the very first one was the sign of the cross of the Lord on page 10, which is where I got what I was trying to say to you earlier. There's a number of prayers. So it gives you the name of the prayer and the page number. So I'll have to translate those all out. But I hadn't done it yet. I was just looking at what the chapters were. Chapter 2 is special prayers. Chapter 3 is various personal prayers. Chapter 4, which is very short, I don't honestly know what it is. Trying to translate it came up as so many things. It could be growth prayer. So maybe some forms of initiation or the beginning. And some of them are translated as liturgy of the word, but that doesn't make sense because the chapter 5 is actually the ordinary of the Mass. So that was a little confusing. So I'm not entirely sure what 4 is. And then there's something here very cool. Shows you what the symbols are. Now I still have to translate because the symbols are just still symbols to me. But when I translate this page, I'll know what the symbols are that are in the rest of the book. I did mark here. Here was our sign of the cross. It's very small looking, isn't it? Remember, each of these little blocks are not a letter, they're a syllable. So it really does give it all to you right there. And which I found interesting because I found when I type things out, copy and paste is what I mean, for the rule of the Secular Franciscan Order in our newsletter, I always I always cut and paste a part of the rule, one article of the rule over. And I do it in English and Korean. And the Korean one a lot of times will take up more room, but it may be because the syllables are taller. They might be taller. I'm going to have to look at that. So flipping through, there's definitely a section of prayers like I showed you. And then they start using the symbols after that. Again, I don't know what those mean. And there's a large section with that. You can see there's a lot of this, right? With the symbols and the text. And then you get to, goodness, this is definitely a new section. Oh wait, there's a chart on the page before this. What is this chart? So this is out of date. Maybe this is why I was able to buy it. It ended in 2017, whatever that is. So it's kind of out of date, so maybe they got new books, and that's how I got them. Then there's a couple empty pages, and there's this. I feel like this could be the songs. And there's another sign of, I believe, a bishop. And then another one of those. And then, ta-da. It's like another table of contents. Was that table of contents? That is. There's another table of contents. What? I missed that before. There's a whole other table of contents. I'm really going to have to translate this. I'm going to need another bookmark. I'm going to use my sign of the cross as a bookmark for right now, because what is this? What is this? Sorry, my water bottle's getting my translation wet. And it goes on to the next page, and there's like another bulleted list. You know what this is looking like? This is looking like we all have them, the index of first line of songs as well as an index of titles. I'm betting these are songs. I'm betting this is, wow, it's page after page, so there must be a lot of them. Yeah, and then there's a different one. See how it's a different format from this page to this page? So I'm betting one of them is first line and one of them is the title of the song. It could even be by tune, because this one, look, or these could be biblical references. Look at all these. So there's multiple numbers there. This will be fun to look up. The artwork's a bit much. I don't know. And then, yep, here's number one. These are pretty easy to see and read, in case you wondered. Korean music looks the same as ours. They're using the same notation symbol. I have my wrong glasses on, sorry. So it gives us a song number here. I'm guessing that's a title. There's something small in the corner, so maybe that's the season of it. And it seems to have the author of it as well as multiple. Could these be? No. I thought maybe those are extra verses, but those do go with. My bookmark fell out. That's what I get. Yeah. So there's notes to sing it. Most of this is in Korean. Oh, look, they use the same symbols for getting louder and softer, right? Mezzo, forte. Very interesting. I don't know what I expected, but I was like, well, okay, what am I going to do? And then you realize some of these are in Latin too. Just like our books that have English with Latin as well, these have English and Latin. And although I can't read all of it, it does say Ave Maria here. And apparently how to say Ave or greet somebody, that is not like Annyeonghaseyo. That is not what the angel Gabriel said. We'll have to look, because it's not Ave. See how down here where it has Ave, Ave, it's all of this for an Ave. So instead of having Ave twice, they have like this and then this. But I can't actually read this because I did tell you where I watched the rosary being prayed. And this is Maria Nim. Maria Nim. And the Nim, I think, is something that identifies her as a person or as a woman. I wish I had looked that up again and refreshed my memory. But it's Maria with Nim at the end. So I knew that was there. I knew that was Maria. And in fact, they do have that as Maria Nim in there. So it just has, I mean, it's pretty much how we would sing it. Ave, Ave, Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu mulieribus et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Jesus. And then you can learn the word for Jesus. Let me attempt to say it. It's going to be bad. You're going to have to forgive me. G. What? G. Ni. E. Da. So I think that's an S at the beginning. So that's C. The J underneath was playing with my head. So C. Na. E. Da. Which may or may not be right. When you put the words all together, right now the syllables are broken out completely for the syllables for the song, but sometimes when you put them together, there's sound change rules, just like we have in America. So it might not be pronounced exactly like that. Some of the letters could be a little different. The little symbol that is normally a null symbol when it's next to something, the one that looks like an O, is a null when a word has to start with a verb. When a symbol starts with a verb, you put that there. It's just a placeholder, but when it's used in a word, oftentimes it makes the NG sound. So let's see, that would be Sina Youngida. I'm gonna have to look that up, but again, I've heard them pray this on the rosary thing, and this is actually the Hail Mary. It says Ave, Ave Maria. It's the Hail Mary. So I found that. I put the red bookmark in there so I could find it again. I thought that would be an instructional one. I can compare that. I really like this version. Also has some high notes. So there's somebody singing a high line, and so it's listed above. So even as a musician, I can appreciate that. So they're sung. And then there's another version of it. Oh, that one's much shorter. The Ave is a much shorter Ave, form of Ave. Oh, and here's one over here. There's 3 versions of the Hail Mary alone, and then it goes into Ave Maris Stella, and they do have 4 verses in English and Korean, so that's also going to be helpful. Salve Regina, again, to learn these words, I can compare them because I know some Latin. Is there English in here? Now, I ran into a whole bunch of Salve Reginas, and then Regina Caelis. They love Maria in them. Let me see. Can I find any English? I don't know. It's so interesting looking at it. Oh my goodness. I don't know how you could do this one, though. There's like not a verse number every time. I would so get lost. But maybe that's the advanced section or the parts of the Mass. I don't know. That one was a bit much for me, right? Just flipping through, seeing. I don't know that I found any English in this particular book. There's another book. There is a second one. Don't worry. I can try and... Interesting. There's a hymn back here that was written by the Medical Mission Sisters. And then the next one's by Bach. You can never tell. Are there any songs that are in Korean and English? Nope. Not that I can see. And there's another table of contents-y looking thing. Another index here in the back. Oh, but almost all the way in the back, look. It's the Latin index. Woohoo! That's a good find for me. I hadn't found that before. It's the next to last page, and then, oh wow, this has a website in the back where you could get this. Awesome. So this was from http:// right, the colon, / www.cbck.or.kr, and it gives an email address as well. So I'm going to go ahead and include those in the description. I don't know what will happen if you go to them. So exciting. And the book is legit. It's sewn into the cover. This is the cover, this flexible cover. Leatherette. I don't know that it's real leatherette. It's a part of the book. Like, you can't separate it. Can't take it out of here. It's in here forever. This is such a lovely little thing, and you can zip it up and take it on your way and take it on the go, which would help you a lot more if you got to the point where you could actually read the words. I think it would be super fun to take this on a regional retreat, because that's the whole reason I got inspired to start looking into some Korean. Was some of the ladies on the regional retreat, I never get to talk to them because their English isn't so good and my Korean is non-existent, so that's on me. So I just wanted to learn a few things to greet them with. I thought it would be super fun, but to be able to pray with them just a little bit. I know there's going to be translators there. They have a machine that translates, and I don't know how that works with Korean because of politeness levels. I'm guessing it has to use a neutral level on a translator. I don't even know how that works, but it might be fun to be able to point, and maybe she could tell me how I'm mispronouncing something or something. I thought it would just, at least, if nothing else, be an icebreaker, and we can draw pictures at each other, or point to things the rest of the weekend. But I thought it would be a great little bridge to really meet some of my Korean Franciscan sisters. So excited. So here's the book again, if you need some help with that. Here is the word that means Korean, Catholic Korean, wait, let me get it right. Catholic Bishops' Conference of Korea. Fancy name, isn't it? It might be a little bit hard to read the gold when I do that. Sorry. I'm very excited about this book, and don't be afraid, friends. Sometimes step out of your comfort zone. The friend on Twitter who recommended that I get this book, go to that eBay to find it, was geeking out. She had not found this particular book yet, and so I gave her the website, and they had one left, so I'm hoping she was able to grab it from there. If not, there must be more out there. As I say, they're now slightly out of date, 2017, so they're probably not using them at mass, which might mean that we can buy them up and use them to learn from. Isn't that exciting, friends? I'm finding it so exciting. So may God bless you and keep you. May he make his light to shine upon you and be gracious to you. And may the Lord bless you. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.